wasn't prepared for that video. So I'm a little bit emotional right now. Those are 3 clients that I've represented very recently that I love so very much. To be honored by Dallas Women Lawyers Association is amazing, because I think we as women support each other, and that is why we have accomplished so much in such a short period of time. And then to be recognized as the Louise Raggio Award recipient, I am so honored, because I learned from reading about her many years ago, she was called the Texas Tornado. So I consider it a great honor to be honored under the name of the woman who was the Texas Tornado. Sitting here tonight, I literally thought back to the first time that it crossed my mind that I could be in the legal profession. And as a student at Sherman High School, I was in the vocational office education program. That's where you went to school in the morning and then you went to work in the afternoon. And I remember like yesterday when we had a lawyer come to speak to us. It's the first time I'd ever met a real lawyer or been around a real lawyer. And he talked about what he did to help his clients. And at that point, I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to be in the legal profession. And I'm going to be the best legal secretary any lawyer has ever had work for him. So I went from the vocational office education program to at Sherman High School to the vocational program at Grayson County Junior College. We called it Harvard on the Hill. Thank you very much. And I took one regular curriculum class in addition to my vocational classes, and I had a history professor who came up to me and said, you know, you need to think about a 4-year college. And I'm like, what? I don't do that. We don't do that in my family. And he said, what's your ACT score? I said, well, I haven't taken it. And he goes, well, I want you to do that. He didn't just mention it to me, he encouraged me. And he followed up with me and he said, you're going to do this, you're going to take the ACT, you're going to go to a 4-year college. And I did. And gratefully, I went to Austin College, which was the 4-year college in my hometown. And I had a constitutional law professor named Dr. Ken Street, who absolutely changed the trajectory of my life. He was the hardest professor I've ever had. And he told me, he said, Charla, I want you to know, I'm not certain about many things in my life, but I do know that you were born to be a lawyer. I'm like, oh my God, no, Dr. Street. And he kept guiding me through 2 years. And he said, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. You're going to take the LSAT course, and you're going to be a lawyer, and one day I'm going to be so proud of you. I took the LSAT and I became a lawyer. I started working at Henderson, Bryant & Wolf in Sherman, Texas. They were all male partners. I was the only associate and the only female. If you think it didn't run downhill at that firm, you can think again. They told me, they said, okay, you can make X amount of money every year, but if you want a bonus, you have to bring in this much in fees. Well, you couldn't bring that much in fees when they didn't give you much work to do. So I became the traffic queen of Grayson County. I took every traffic ticket that anybody got, and I knew you had to have the 5 points of the municipal star or you could quash a ticket. It was the best experience I ever had. I tried cases in the municipal court, one right after the other, and my firm belief is a trial is a trial is a trial. Nothing should be beneath us as trial lawyers if we really want to learn how to convince people and to advocate that those have been wrong, even those that probably did run the stoplight. But I remember like yesterday in 1986, I tried my first jury trial, and it was in the lovely county of Lamar County. Paris, Texas. I'd like to see the hands of those who have tried a case in Lamar County. I see none. Judge Johnson was the judge, and he was usually drunk by the time he took the bench, even at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we appeared, and the jury was, the voir dire panel was out there ready to get going. And the judge says, we're going to take a break. Miss Aldous, come back to my chambers. So I, with all confidence in the world, marched back to his chambers, and he said, are you one of those lady lawyers who has a chip on your shoulder? And I was sitting there thinking, okay, I got to do what's best for my client. Right. I can't take him on my like, yeah, Judge, I don't think so. But I have a feeling if I am, you're going to knock it right off. He said, damn straight. I'm glad we got that okay. We walked back and we tried the case. So I used to think that was a huge thing. You know, they call me a lady lawyer. Do you have a chip on your shoulder? But when you think about somebody like Louise Raggio, you realize how insignificant a judge asking you if you're a lady lawyer with a chip on your shoulder really is. And I brought cards up here because I don't want to misquote someone that I revere so much as I do Louise Raggio. I heard about her from the time I started law school. I admired her, and the more I read about her, the more I admired. Because Louise Raggio started practicing in 1954. And the reason she started practicing is the man she had married, Greer Raggio, who was a lawyer, went in World War II and was practicing, was in the battle for several years. He had severe PTSD, and through one of the interviews, she said, the man that I married was not the man that came home. I had 3 children, and I didn't know if he was going to continue to practice law or to be able to make a living. So I decided I have to make sure I can support my 3 children. She went to law school at SMU at night. She had her 3rd child while she was in law school and rode a bike with him in a backpack on her back. And in 1954, Louise Raggio said, and I wrote this down because I do not want to misquote her, when a man and a woman married, they were one, and he was the one. Because in 1954, a married woman could not withdraw funds from a bank without her husband's permission. In 1954, women were limited in their rights to own property. In 1954, a woman could not start her own business without the consent of her husband because she could not take out a blank loan. Louise Raggio said it was idiots, convicts, minors, and married women who did not have property rights. She then, after 2 years of doing wills from her house and getting paid $15 for it, and oftentimes having to give her husband's signature to file documents with the court, she got a job with the esteemed Henry Wade, our district attorney. And Judge Sara T. Hughes is the one that got her the job. And Henry Wade said after he hired Louise, well, I wasn't too worried about it because I knew you would fall flat on your face, but that would get Sara T. Hughes off my back. The first trial, jury trial Louise tried, there were 12 people on the voir dire panel. There were 6 jurors to be chosen. There were 10 women on the panel, 2 men, and she chose, eventually there were 6 women on the jury. It was in the newspapers, and I read this a couple of nights ago. They said, oh my God, how can we have a female jury on this panel? They will be so soft-hearted and won't see how this man was really a criminal. Louise said, just watch out for us girls. And guess what? He was convicted. Louise convicted a criminal with 6 women on the jury. When Louise started practicing law, women could not even be jurors. 25 years later, Louise was elected a state bar director. And as they had done for years, the state bar gave her a gift. And it was cufflinks. As they had done, because she was the first woman who had been ever elected as a state bar director. And you know what she did? She put the cufflinks on a gold chain around her neck. And she said, "I wear this," and I quote, "as a badge of acceptance." Is that not amazing? As a badge of acceptance. One of her sons said in an interview that I saw was one of Mom's tools is that she played dumb. That's the only way that she could advance, not only in her legal career, but through the state bar and its hierarchy, is she had to play dumb. What I would say to all of you here for the Dallas Women Lawyers Association is we've come a long way. I don't think any of us today will have a judge that will call us a lady lawyer. Right, Judge Moye? We obviously have property rights. And I really don't think we have to play dumb as a tool to better the position of our clients in litigation. But I will say, I think that we have a long way to go. We don't have to play dumb as a tool to fight with the men, because I fight for a living. But one thing that we are, and I believe we continue to be, is we're underestimated. And what I say to my fellow, how many female lawyers are here? I love it. What I say to my fellow female women lawyers, we are underestimated, but I say embrace it. Eventually it will change, but just use it for now. I'll give you a perfect example. I was taking an auditor's deposition, and it was with a big firm in Dallas, and I knew the lawyer, who was a fabulous man, and I knew that obviously he was a man, and all the associates, there were a lot of them, were on the team, and they were all men. So I use cards. These are the cards that I use. I use them in depositions. I use them in jury trials. They're all different colors. There's no color coordination that I use for anything. It's just fun for me. And it's great when you talk to a jury, you can say, put it down, and they know that you're the next topic. Or then you can say, I only have 3 more cards. And they think, okay, I can hang in there with her for 3 more cards. But in this deposition, I took 2 cards, color cards. They were a big stack. And they were pink and purple. And I have to say this, I did it intentionally. And the Sharpie that I used to write on the cards to give me an outline for my deposition was green. So I had pink and purple cards, and on them was green Sharpie writing. Well, we started the deposition, and I could tell the lawyer started bristling from the get-go, kind of getting uncomfortable, looking at the cards, and all the male associates were looking at each other like, you know, what is this woman doing? These cards. And it was so much fun. And then I found out, because a partner of his was down the hall, and at one of the breaks, he went down and he said, she's ripping my guy a new asshole, and she's doing it with lilac cards. So what I say to you women, lawyers, my peers, is, yeah, we are underestimated. And so until we're not underestimated, use it for all it's worth. Take pink and purple cards with you. One of the things I admire most about Louise Raggio is that she raised 3 absolutely wonderful sons. I know Greer, and I've met 2 of the other sons, but her quote was, "My professional accomplishments would have meant much less if I couldn't point to my family with pride." So many times we as women are asked, how can you do it? How can you raise children and be successful? And it's not easy. I've been a single mom for 25 years, I think now, and it's not easy. But women, it can be done. I must say that I'm sad that my 4 children couldn't be here tonight. Sadly, they all live in different states. Thankfully, they are all gainfully employed. So that's why they're not here. And oftentimes, even now, my kids say that they're adults. They go, "Mommy, how did you do it?" And I said, well, I figured out a few things. Number 1, I couldn't give you back. Number 2, you like food, shelter, and clothing. So there weren't a whole lot of choices. But I've had people say, how did you do it? Because I must say, I think I have the 4 most wonderful kids in the world. How did you do it? And what I did is I tried to bring my children in to my practice and my life. If I had to be out of town, I would put a picture of my clients on the refrigerator door. And I would explain to them what had happened to that client. And I would say, Mommy's going to be gone for 2 days. But I'm going to be gone for 2 days because I'm fighting for Sara, or I'm fighting for this person. And I think there's a way that we as women can teach our children how we're fighting for the right thing, so they understand when we're not there, as a stay-at-home mom could be, there's a reason and there's a purpose behind it. I want to say this, that I would be amiss, my 4 children can't be here, but my sister drove in from Sherman, Texas, my sister Debbie. She's here. She has been my number 1 supporter, my biggest cheerleader my entire life, through the high times and the really, really low times. And I've got so many people from my firm here, including my partner, Brent Welker. And I was a solo practitioner for many, many years because I just didn't want anybody messing with me on what cases I was going to take and which cases I was going to reject. Brent's been with me for 11 years, and he has put up with a lot, not least of which is me to walk in and say, Brent, we just signed up this case, and we're going to take it. He's like, Charla, that's really great, but we have no cause of action. I'm like, oh, I'm not worried about that. You'll figure it out. And I got to tell you, every single dadgum time he does. And then one of the things that I appreciate about Brent more than anything, literally, is I take cases oftentimes where we're going to lose money. We're going to have a lot of cost in it that we're going to never recover. We may be thrown out on summary judgment, or as it is many times, we'll get a verdict, but we know we'll never collect it. And never one time has Brent Walker said to me, Charla, we can't take that case because we're not going to make any money. And for that, I feel very lucky and very blessed. I feel like my law license is a license to help others. If people ask me what I do, I wouldn't say that practicing law is a profession. I would literally say it's my calling. It's my calling because I can give a voice to those that, but for me, would not have a voice. I was so moved when I saw the video of Nina Pham and Sara Milburn and Isabella Fletcher. Their injuries and their needs were all so very different, but they needed a voice. Nina Pham, many of you will know, was the Ebola nurse who was brave beyond belief. She sacrificed possibly her life to take care of someone, and after that, she to this day, we'll never know until it happens if she gets any symptoms from post-Ebola syndrome. Her damages were, you suffered, you were a warrior, and yet now you have the uncertainty of not knowing. Sara Milburn was a young woman who is a quadriplegic because her seatbelt was defectively designed. It's really easy to quantify her damages because her parents have to catheterize her every 4 hours. They have to do a bowel prep every other day. She needs 24-hour care. And because of what we did for her, we have relieved some of the financial burden for that family. And then Isabella Fletcher, I saw her tear up. She's a runner at our firm right now because it's a safe place for her to work. She was raped by 2 high school boys when she was 14 years old. And we won that case. We'll never collect anything from the rapist, but what we did is we gave her vindication in a sense that people believed in her. And a person like her, her scars, you can't see them. Do you say she has mental anguish? No. It goes so far deeper than that. She's not in a wheelchair. She's not on crutches. But her injury has been to her soul. And I feel so lucky as a lawyer that I can represent not only women, but all people like that who need a voice and need to know that they've been heard. Louise Raggio said, and I wrote this down, we haven't gotten to where we need to be, but we are certainly farther along than when we started. Looking at her life, and I would be remiss without saying, Judge Barbara Lynn, if you could stand. This woman is right the next level after Louise Raggio. Don't get mad at me for saying this, it's the truth. She was a pioneer for women when no woman could get an interview at a silver stocking law firm in Dallas, Texas. And she did it, and she has pioneered for so many of us since that time. So what I'm thankful for is for organizations like the Dallas Women Lawyers Organization, who lifts the women up, encourages us, and helps us understand and believe that we can move forward. So hopefully, I've got one child who's a lawyer. Hopefully my daughter, Eleanor, will not experience the things that I have experienced in my career simply because I'm a lawyer. It will be a more even playing field. And we would not be in that position in our profession but for organizations like the Dallas Women's Lawyers Association and but for people like Louise Raggio and Barbara Lynn. So to say that I'm honored to receive this award would be an understatement. I'm overwhelmed, I'm humbled, and it's one of the highlights of my career. Thank you.